Earning the reputation of giving all the right ingredients, uninhibited, and exposing the hard, cold facts about the Watchtower Society. And now, the end is near.
Well, good Sunday afternoon to everyone. We really appreciate you coming in to the Six Screens today. Well, it's a nice day up here in New England. I hope it's nice where you are. And we're going to be sharing some stories with you today on JW World News. Amazing what's going on behind the curtains. So stay with us. Well, there you have it. Hello, everyone. My name's Rick Farron, and I'm coming to you from the hub of the universe, right up here in Boston, Massachusetts, and we're glad you're with us. And I tell you, I've been happy all week. I have been walking around the house. I'm feeling really good. My adrenaline is running high this week. And you say, well, why is that, Rick? Well, it's because the Watchtower is really cooked. Get it off the grill. It's not working anymore. Did you know that? The Watchtower is not working anymore. They're doing everything they can to bring more people into the organization. I mean, they're even paying for advertisement. They're paying for advertisement. There's a billboard in London right now advertising jw.org. They're doing whatever they can. We know we have that Hendrix character. He's coming on and doing these paid advertisements, infomercials, really, on local television stations. So I'm going to tell you right now, the monkey died, the circus is over. Where are they going? Where is the Watchtower going when you have to start paying to get positive feedback? You have to pay to get it. They're advertising. They never did that before. The Watchtower never advertised before. But friends, I'll tell you, they're in deep trouble. And I'll tell you another reason why they're in trouble. I don't know if you've seen it all this week, but lawsuits against the Watchtower in New York, especially. I mean, that's where their world headquarters is. And I got news for you. Just in the past week, 3 more lawsuits were already filed this week. And then going back a couple of months ago, there's 3 more lawsuits. So I counted 6 lawsuits within the last 6 months let me put it this way to you. Not only were they were filed earlier years ago, but I should say they were settled. This week, these lawsuits were settled. I didn't even know there were 6 of them going on. But yeah, so the Watchtower is really cutting checks out to people. And in this particular case, Erwin Zalkin, he is the one that is a lawyer in San Diego, California. He's working with a bunch of ex-Jehovah's Witnesses that have been sexually molested when they were children in the Watchtower. I'll tell you, like I said last night, Erwin Zalkin is a pit bull. This guy is unbelievable. I don't have time to go through all of the court cases, but there was one in particular that I found very fascinating. In fact, this lawsuit was filed back in 2020, back in October of 2020. It's what they call the Diaz case. And this woman, her name is actually Elza Diaz. And also another girl, her name was Suzanne Gomez. And they were Spanish women, I guess, in a Spanish congregation. And it was a ministerial servant in the congregation years ago that molested those 2 girls. They're older now, but they filed a lawsuit back in October of 2020, like I say, with the Zalkin law firm, and they just did have a settlement. The settlement was given to them evidently in the last week or so. So I see this. The Watchtower has an open book. They're writing checks out like crazy to people that are, having issues with them being molested when they were younger by a Jehovah's Witness man, even in some cases women. It's very rare, but mostly by men. But the point I wanted to make is Brother Penna. His name is Penelver. Brother Penelver. He was a ministerial servant. He was the one that was actually sexually molesting these two girls. And now Brother Penelver is in big trouble. I guess he's in prison, from what I understand. But the Watchtower is really just, it's hitting them in the pocketbook. And, I went through all of these cases. There was 6 cases, and there's a lot of documents and transcripts and what have you. But the one thing I noticed that the Irwin, Zalkin law firms do is they do their homework. If you ever are listening in, well, many people listening in here today, but if you're listening into the program right now and you were molested as one of Jehovah's Witnesses when you were a young person and you never really filed a lawsuit, I would say get on the bandwagon if it's not going to bring back bad memories. Get on the bandwagon, get a hold of Irwin Zalkin. He's out in San Diego, California. And by all means, you get a hold of him. It's Zalkin. Zalkin law firm, and he'll straighten all out for you. He'll make them apologize to you, and he'll get you some money for all of the years this has plagued you. I know money's not the whole answer here, but it certainly can help, because I know a lot of these people are molested. Think about it. Think about what child molestation does to people. It can really mess their whole life up. Zalkin's the guy to get. He does his homework. A lot more to talk about there, but we don't have the time to do it. But anyways, let's move to the next story and see what else is going on behind the curtains this week. Well, same line of thinking, Washington State, the lawmakers out in Washington State, they're proposing a bill requiring all clergy to report child abuse. Now, this law is coming into play because of the Jehovah's Witnesses. So you can imagine the witnesses have got so many, I'm sure, religious organizations out there, the Baptist and Catholicism and a lot of religions are all upset with the witnesses because of the witnesses profusely hiding child molestation. The state of Washington looked into it and said, hey, enough was enough with the Jehovah's Witnesses. Now we're going to make it mandatory that all religious clergy has to report mandatory reporting of child abuse or neglect going on in their religion. So other religions can thank Watchtower for that. And they've been getting away for years. In fact, I'll tell you, Washington State was one of the states that didn't require mandatory reporting. And it was, I'll tell you what, they're now going to do it. In fact, most states now are requiring it. So that's going to put more pressure on the Watchtower organization. So I was glad to hear that. And then there was also do we have time to play it? I'm going to play a clip because this really got me thinking. This is a young girl. Now, the state legislators, out in Washington State, well, they wanted to call in people that were abused by religious clergy. So this young girl shows up. Looks like she's probably about 17, maybe 18. I don't know, somewhere around there. So she shows up. Her name is Sarah, and she was abused. She was abused in the Watchtower. And she says she's an inactive witness today, but she wanted to report them and tell the legislators out in Washington State how evil the Watchtower is. Let me play the clip. Let me get it up here. Just give me a second. But I have to say, this girl is so brave. This girl has tremendous courage. Imagine coming on. You're still kind of in the witnesses, even though she's inactive. But for her to come on and really speak up about what's going on in the world of the Watchtower, I find that just absolutely fantastic. Let me see if I got the right list here. Just give me a second just to find it. This always does create some issues here for us. But today, okay, boom, 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 boom. Yeah, her name is Sarah. And let's see where she is. Well, she's right here. Yeah, it's actually, just give me a second here, folks. I'm sorry. I had it all planned ahead of time. But you know what happens. Things can happen here. But you'll be fascinated when you hear this girl. and she'll be able to, let me just see if I can make this smaller and find the right screen here. Let me get back on my streamline. Yeah, so this is really good. The Watchtower is really cracking down on uh, on Jehovah's Witnesses, and I think that's a good thing. I really, really do. And well, let me see. Maybe I'm not going to be able to get this up for some reason. You put things up and that kind of disappears. Ba-bum, ba-bum, ba-bum. Let me just go down the list here and see. Just let me check it here. Yeah, where is it? Now that is the strangest thing. Okay, right. I got it here. Let's share it now. Listen to Sarah. She'll fill you in on what's going on. Come on, Sarah. Let's hear what you have to say.
Who will be joining us via remote. Go ahead, Sarah.
Hi, thank you so much. I wanted to speak with you guys today. I was raised one of Jehovah's Witnesses. I actually currently still am, although I am considered inactive. I wanted to talk to you about what this bill would look like for children who are currently in the organization. So for someone like myself, it took 4 separate reports throughout my childhood to actually get access to services outside of our congregation. Most children have to wait until they're 18 and legal adults to access any type of therapy or really any contact with social services because we are a very insular community. I am 100% in support of this bill. Most of Jehovah's Witnesses are homeschooled, and our religious teachings are that anything outside of our community is in the hands of the devil. And of course, that makes children not really opt to get support for themselves. So I am in 100% support. It really needs to happen for the sake of children who are too young to consent to being in this religion. Their parents put them in this, and it can be a good upbringing if there are protections there. And it is up to our government and local government to enforce that children who are unable to consent to a 2-person rule, to not accessing help, that there are some safeguards there. And that's all. Thank you.
Sarah, for the record, can you let us know who you are? Identify yourself just for the record.
Yeah, of course. My name is Sarah Young.
All right. Thank you so much. And thanks for coming to testify today.
So much.
You're welcome. And with that, we will close the hearing on Senate Bill 5280.
Well, there you go. So, Sarah, we want to tell Sarah she did a fantastic job. And you can just imagine the pressure that poor girl was under. Well, thank you, Sarah, for getting out there and exposing the Jehovah's Witnesses. But, I'll tell you, really, the elders are going to be paying her a visit. Even though she's inactive, they're going to come after her. But she's a brave young girl, and there's more and more people stepping up to the plate and exposing the Watchtower. Well, I don't know if you guys saw it or not. But anyways, last week, did you see CBS Sunday Morning? That's one of my favorite programs. I really like it. It's light news, but they were talking about a new platform, a new app, and it's called ChatGPT. You say, well, what is that, Rick? Well, maybe you guys have heard about it, but what it is this app or this platform will actually write a letter for you. You can just tell them, we'll write a book for you. It'll answer your emails for you. All you have to do is just put a few words into ChatGPT, and it'll do all the work for you. And I'll tell you what, I think it's only a matter of time the Watchtower might even be using ChatGPT, and because you can write Watchtower articles. So suppose the Watchtower wants to write an article on baptism. Well, they can get scriptures from the Bible. They can type them into ChatGPT, and tell them basically they want to know if baptism is something that young children should consider. Put young children in there, put a bunch of words in there, and let the chat platform go to work for you, and it'll come up with something. So I found this very, very fascinating. And what got my interest more than anything really is the fact that somebody, an ex-Jehovah's Witness, he wanted to resign from being one of Jehovah's Witnesses. So he wrote in ChatGPT, he wanted to write a resignation letter to the Watchtower. So he put certain words in. He put, well, let me give you some of the words he put in. You might find them fascinating. So he went to ChatGPT and he put certain words in there. Now, you don't have to give him a whole lot of words, but for example, he put in there lies, trust, loyalty, ridicule, persecution, family members, words like that. That, if you sat down to write a resignation letter, you'd probably think of words like that yourself. You've had family problems because of this, a lot of lies you were told. So, anyways, you typed this all into Chat GPT. Well, let me read you what it came back with. It only takes a couple of minutes, and the chat platform goes to work. So this is what it came up with. Now, this is computer IA, artificial intelligence, and it's coming on. It's scaring a lot of people. There are English teachers, there are college teachers in particular that are saying, no, don't let the students have this, because the students are actually, if you do a book report in school, and I mentioned How to Kill a Mockingbird, okay? So you punch in, could you please write me an essay or a book report on how to kill a mockingbird? And 5 minutes later, you got a whole report, and you turn that in. So the teachers are getting very upset that the kids are doing this. So anyways, let me read you the letter of resignation. This is all done by computer AI. It says, "Dear Watchtower organization, I am writing to inform you of my decision to resign from my position within the congregation. My time within this organization has been filled with many challenges and hardships, but it has also been a time of growth and learning." I found that fascinating. Now, not only did it say that, it's an ugly side, but Chat GPT also picked up that there was a time of growth and learning. I mean, how does it know that, right? But it researches all the information on the internet and comes up with this. And then Chat goes on to say, I have come to realize that my beliefs and values no longer align with those of the organization. I have found that the constant pressure to conform to the organization's standards and to trust in Jehovah and his organization above all else has caused me to question my own faith and values. This thing is scary. I'll tell you what, this is a good written letter, I'm telling you. And it goes on to say, I have also come to understand that the organization's focus on obedience and control has led to a lack of trust and transparency within the organization and within the congregation. I have seen how this has caused many members to feel persecuted and ridiculed, and it has led to a separation of families and individuals within the congregation. I believe that it is important to have faith in Jehovah and to strive to live a life of loyalty and obedience, but it should not come at the cost of one's own personal beliefs and values. I have come to realize that true faith and trust in Jehovah comes from within, and it should not be forced or imposed by an organization. I would like to thank the congregation and the responsible brothers for their support and guidance during my time within the organization. I hope in the future the organization will focus on creating a more open and inclusive environment where members are encouraged to think and believe for themselves, and where trust and transparency are prioritized above all else. Sincerely, then I'm not going to read his name. But anyways, there you go. There is a resignation letter written by a computer. I thought you might like that. I really did. That really caught me by surprise. It really, really has. And I'll tell you what, I want to go down here. Let's go down here, and we talked last night. They're really putting a lot of the witnesses are going overboard. They are worshiping the governing body. Let's put it that way. I'm going to put it that way. That they are making it seem like everything that's a blessing is coming from the governing body. And there was what they're doing now. You guys know it in the Kingdom Halls. They get the big screen TVs, they got the video equipment, and they're piping in live streaming, and they're piping in videos from Watchtower. And what's been happening is there's some kingdom halls that didn't have the money to have these big, large televisions and equipment. So the Watchtower gave 3 congregations at least that I see here. A fellow told me this, that 3 congregations that he knew of got the gift, and they read the gift as being given to them by the governing body. The governing body was nice enough to give us this equipment we need. Well, the governing body is only looking out for themselves. It's not the governing body. Where'd the governing body get the money? They got it from the poor witnesses giving them money. But this is what they do, and they want to take all the credit for what they gave, and that's a sign of narcissism. Someone else really gifted it to them, not the governing body. But anyways, the governing body is continuing to pull this malarkey. People, it's sickening. It really is sickening. It is a trait of the narcissist, like I say. And the governing body, they never gifted anything to anybody. Think about it. What have they ever done for gifts? I mean, their members have never been given gifts. Think about how about other religions and what they do? The Baptist, Catholicism, they have rehab centers. They have therapy centers. We're subsidized by the religion. And what about the Jehovah's Witness universities and schools? Where are the Sunday schools for the Jehovah's Witness children? And how about hospitals for the sick Jehovah's Witnesses? These guys don't spend a penny on anything. And the governing body, they do not care about the Jehovah's Witness well-being. Not at all. The Watchtower organization is worth billions of dollars, and they could care less about the individual witness. They're selling off kingdom halls left and right. So many that people have to travel, in some cases, an hour just to get to the meeting. You would think when they sell a kingdom hall off, if you're in a kingdom hall and you've been going there for 20 years, and all of a sudden the Watchtower comes in and sells it under your feet and says, okay, you have to go to another hall, but Brother Farron, the hall is like a good hour away. So now there goes that hall. Now these people have to travel a good hour to get to the new hall. And that is distressing. You would think with the money they made by selling the Kingdom Hall that they say, look, we'll help you with the travel expenses for a year. You think they would do that? Absolutely not. They're only concerned on making big profits. And I mentioned last night, folks, that the Watchtower doesn't really gift anybody with anything. Well, if you want to look at it, bad gifts. Yeah, the governing body has gifted many ex-witnesses with no normal childhood, emotional and intellectual repression, guilt complex. They life macro-manage everything. So many of these ex-witnesses that get out of the Watchtower, they can't think on their own. I mean, this is what the Watchtower gives people. I'm not just talking ex-witnesses. I'm talking regular Jehovah's Witnesses as well. The governing body hasn't given them a thing. If anything, it's hurt people more than helped them. Well, we're going to stop there for the news. I wanted to try to get through most of it, but that's okay. We'll go into full detail on a lot of the stories next week, Saturday night at 7 o'clock on our JW World News. But I just wanted to give you those brief little stories here today. Now, what we've got another program, 2 more programs coming up today on the 6 screens. You don't want to leave now. We've got a program coming up here. It's called the Christian Court. And we're really working hard trying to get this program up and running. We have 2 scholars on the program. We have an Old Testament scholar and a New Testament scholar. So we're looking forward to them coming on. It's called the Christian Court. So I would say we are going to go to that in just a couple of minutes. But I did want to make a couple of announcements here as well. If you guys were looking for me on Facebook last night, and I'm getting messages all day long, we were not on Facebook last night. I can post on there, but they restricted me from putting live videos on Facebook. And for a month, we can't be on Facebook. And the reason is because of a program we have, and we're not going to be able to have it anymore because of the difficulties we have. It's one of these conspiracy programs. And they came on, and this was a week ago. and we had it on a number of Facebook platforms. But after the program was over, the Facebook company took our videos down. They sent me a message saying that, what was being said in the video. It was the Big Picture program that we have here with Jimmy Bell and his company. And what was being said, they said, wasn't factual. So we know the big guys, YouTube and Facebook, we know that they're working feverishly to eliminate anything that comes across. But see, the thing is, friends, and I understand all of what's going on right now in the world. The world is in a heck of a mess. Nobody really knows what the real truth is. People are really, religion's not telling you the truth. The government's not telling you the truth. Business leaders aren't telling you the truth. So people, they go to Facebook, and Facebook's got these. Well, anyways, I mean, I won't go into detail here today, but Jimmy Bell's in his company, they were talking about human trafficking and how the girl on the program was mentioning that there were tunnels underground where children were being bred to be sold into sex slavery. And, I don't know, maybe it does exist in some parts of the world, and maybe right here in America too. It's just that, there is no real evidence of it. So, when you come on and you present something as fact, they have fact checkers and they're going to come after you. And so that's what happened. So that's why we were not on Facebook last night. We'll be on in 3 weeks again, but we're on YouTube. We're also on the Six Screens Video Suite platform, as well as our radio network. So that's what's going on. So if someone asks you what's going on with Rick on Facebook, that's what happened. Well, anyways, we're looking here. I do see Jay in with us. I do not see Egal, though. I do not see Egal. Let me bring Jay on. Going to add Jay to the stream. Hello, Jay. Yeah, I'm not sure. I sent everything to Egal, and we just don't know where Egal is today. We were hoping, when I put this program together, that we could have him be on there with you. And it's kind of disappointing. He could add so much to the whole arrangement here. But for some reason, I don't know if he's got the time mixed up or why he's not on, but we're just going to have to go forward. We're just going to go forward with the program, and we'll see if he wants to join us, unless he's running late. I'll tell you what I'm going to do, Jay, where we haven't gone live yet. I'm going to call Egal right now and see if we can't get Egal on here. Let me just see if I got his number here. Okay, let's see. Wireless. Let me see if I can't get Egal on here with us. And well, where are you, Egal? Oh golly. Okay. Well, just hang in here with us, folks. If you're listening on the radio network, just give us a few minutes here, and we'll be able to get things straightened away, and we'll see exactly what's going on. I'm going to give Egal a call if I can find his number. Got a lot of numbers in here. Well, he just called me yesterday. Why isn't it showing up here? Okay. Well, let me just ask Siri. Siri, call Egal.
I don't see Eagle in your contacts.
I don't see that the name Egal, it always comes up as Eagle. Well, I'm not sure where he is, Jay, but we're going to go ahead with the program. I'm not going to take any more time on this. I want to be able to get into this program, because I think the program would be so good to have him on with us. But we're glad you're on. You're right on the ball, and we appreciate it, Jay. So we do appreciate that. I'm just going to check one thing here on my Facebook chat. Let me just check that and see if that's where he. Sometimes people message me in different places and I don't know where. Let me see if I got it here. Okay, he says he will join shortly. Well, the program, how shortly? I'm not complaining, but just explaining. It's how shortly, Gal? We got to know this. We're getting ready to start a program. All right, maybe he's going to be coming on now. I don't know. We'll give him a couple of minutes. Folks, just stay in here with us. But I hate it, because what we do is we start to lose an audience. We hate to lose people, and Yeah, I want to get as many people listening into the program as we can. So, well, we're gonna go. Well, what I'm gonna do? It's 5 minutes. All right, we're gonna start the program anyways, Jay, and then we'll bring him in when he comes. Okay. So in the meantime, let's get our program started, and let's get into the program today. Let me make sure we get all the clips up, and we're gonna be ready to roll. So we're going forward with the program. We'll bring a gal in when he comes in later. So let's go live right now. I'm going to bring you out of the scene here, Jay. I'm going to introduce the program. Let's go live right now.
You're on the Six Screens Telenetwork, earning the reputation of giving all the right ingredients, uninhibited, and exposing the hard, cold facts about the Watchtower Society. And now, in Disney.
Well, hello, everyone, and welcome in to our Sunday afternoon program called The Christian Court. Wow, I'm looking so forward to this program, and we've had it up now for 4 different times, and I like what I hear in here. I like the amount of viewers that we are getting, and it's called The Christian Court. And why do we come up with that name? Well, in the world of Christianity, there's a wide spectrum of understanding between scriptural explanations and personal mixed peculiarities, a gray area lacking clearly defined information. The Christian enters the uncertain zone. Well, maybe you're a Christian, and at times you enter the uncertain zone. This is a zone where Christians will differ in interpretation. Some say their explanation is correct. Others propose they got it right. Well, we're going to be asking the scholars today. We have our Old Testament scholar who'll be coming on shortly. His name is Egal German, and he's a doctor of theology. He went to the Moody School of Theology out in Chicago, and he'll be coming on very shortly. But we have our resident specialist and our resident scholar, Jay Hess. So let's bring Jay on anyways and introduce Jay to you. Hello, Jay. Well, there you go. There he is. You know him from the other program he does, Making Disciples with Jay, that will be up after this program. But let's just talk for a couple of seconds. You gals should be on here with us very shortly. I got some dinging going off. But what we're going to do, Jay, is I think we'll go forward and I'll kind of work it backwards. I wanted Egal to be involved with some of the questions up front, but I'll work from the back and work backward. So let me just do this. Let me see. We are okay. Okay. All right. Well, let's go with this, Jay. I mean, you're a New Testament scholar, and you probably have more insight from the New Testament. The question. Let me just see. Let me just answer this phone here. Make sure what's happening here. Okay. Okay. So he'll be on. He'll be on a few minutes. So we'll start anyways. So here's the question, Jay. We want Jay to answer this question. He's gonna give us a good understanding. Now, this is the question: what position should a Christian take in praying? Should one be on their knees? Should they be in a quiet room? Should it be silent? Should the words be prearranged? A lot of these things, people, I mean, I remember my mother, she used to say, well, you really should pray on your hands and knees. You should get down by the side of your bed. And, you know, I always wonder that. Now, the Bible does specifically say in Matthew, they have the model prayer. We know it tells you what to pray for. But how about the position? How about the atmosphere, the environment? Jay, what do you say about that? Does the Bible give us any detailed instructions on how to pray? well, very good, Jay. Well, we do have Gal is on with us now. So you just heard from the New Testament scholar Jay Hess. I'm going to bring Gal on. I'm going to add him to the stream. Hello, Gal. Oh, yeah, good to see you. Yes, absolutely. So, what we're going to do here, we just had Jay answer the first question that we put out here today. I'm going to have you as an Old Testament scholar. It's dealing with the position that one would be in for praying, Egal. Uh, should one be on their knees? Should they be in a quiet room, silent? Should the prayer words be prearranged? What position would a person be in to pray? Now, well, what is there anything in the Old Testament would kind of give us a clue? Well, very good. So, in other words, and what I got from Jay as well as you, it's really not a big issue. I mean, you could actually pray while you're eating a Big Mac. Really, you could pray while you're driving down the road. It's what your heart condition is and your connection with your heavenly Father. Well, very good. So let me come back on here, and I'm going to put myself back into the stream. And we got another question here. Now, this question here, this is comes up a lot and it's quite interesting. I always found this question very interesting. It says the Bible strictly forbids eating rabbit, shellfish, pork, weasels, scavengers, reptiles, and owls. Well, an owl doesn't sound too good to eat, I'll tell you that. But Christians, they simply ignore the eating advisories in the Old Testament, even though they claim that the edicts like the Ten Commandments still apply. So the question would be, should a Christian avoid these foods today? We'll go with the Old Testament scholar first with Egal. Well, well, that, that that's exactly what we're trying to discuss here on the Christian Court. It's not it's not going to keep you out of the kingdom. But let me just ask you a question on that. And I respect your thoughts on that, not eating pork and some of the things mentioned there in Leviticus. But the point I wanted to ask is, I've many Christians that I've spoke to, they say, well, the only reason why those Levitical food laws existed is because of the lack of refrigeration. Have you heard that before, Miguel? Yeah, yeah, yeah. Well, yeah, we're gonna listen to Jay here shortly too, but I've heard that before that because I used to give public talks when I was one of Jehovah's Witnesses, and I had a public talk. It was entitled "Science and the Bible in Your Faith," and maybe I got this idea from the witnesses, really. But in the talk that I gave, and I traveled around different congregations and give it. It talked about the Levitical code on meat and how the people in the Old Testament wouldn't eat it and basically, trichinosis, which is a really bad disease from eating raw pork or uncooked pork or even rancid pork, would really do a job and kill people. So maybe that's where I got the idea of Christians saying, I heard that in the witness world. But that's a fascinating study, and I respect your thoughts on that. And I respect the fact too that if someone does want to eat it, that's their prerogative. Let's bring Jay on. Let's get the New Testament's idea of eating meat that's listed as bad in the Old Testament. Jay, what do you say? Well, very good. Now, I'll tell you what, great explanation. Both of you folks really doing a great job here. But you got me thinking. I never thought about it, but the demons did go into that swine, didn't they? Huh? Now that's interesting. So I've heard the story before, but I never really connected it to the pork mentioned in the Bible. Well, that's interesting. Well, we got another question for the scholars, for our Old Testament scholar Egal, our New Testament scholar Jay. Now, the Jehovah's Witnesses believe if a member of the congregation is sinning, the whole congregation loses God's spirit. They call it the Achan syndrome. And if you remember in the Bible, Achan, Achan did sin. And he was a sin of stealing some of the accursed things from Jericho. And of course, Achan being a Israelite at the time, he took some of this stuff from this Babylonian Jericho, and it was a garment and some silver and a wedge of gold. And because he did that, a curse seemed to be placed on the nation, and many soldiers died when they went into battle, one particular battle. So the question is there such a thing? Is there such a thing as the Achan syndrome? And does this really happen in the true Christian church? So we'll ask Egal first to talk about the Achan syndrome. All right, well, that's a good perspective, and I'd like to get New Testament scholars' thoughts on that. So the question would be, just to reiterate it for our audience, the question would be, if there's someone in the church that is sinning, is it possible the whole congregation could have spirit removed? The witnesses call it the Achan syndrome. Jay, what do you think? Well, very good, Jay. That's good because I tell you, I had a conversation with my wife Susan this morning, and we were talking about this very issue. And just logically speaking, in the Jehovah's Witness congregations, let's just apply it there first. There's so much sinning going on in that organization. We talk about it every week here on JW World News. Stuff that's going on that even the elders have no idea. I mean, there'd be nobody going to the congregations. The spirit would be removed. There'd be nobody there. Of course, it is happening right now as we speak. But it'd be the same for the Christian churches as well. I mean, they're packed with sinners. Everyone who walks through that door is basically a sinner. And so consequently, there'd be no spirit. But I understand what Egal is saying too, that it makes for a better arrangement, a better environment, atmosphere, if you have everyone that's staying pretty much in line with God's word. Very good. Well, very good. Let's move on. We got another question here. And let's see what this next question is. Let me just move up here and see what it is. Now, this question always got attention. It's something that has come up here at the six screens from time to time, and I think it really deserves us to answer it. And I'll just give a little recap. The reality is that in the Bible, much more in support of slavery than against it. Even in the New Testament, Jesus never says owning people is wrong. Instead, the Bible explicit instructions are given to masters and slaves. You may purchase a male or female slave from among the foreigners who live among you. You may also purchase the children of such resident foreigners, including those who have been born in your land. You may treat them as your property, passing them on to your children as a permanent inheritance. You may treat your slaves like this, but the people of Israel, your relatives, must never be treated this way. Leviticus 24:44 through 46. So, slaves, obey your earthly masters with deep respect and fear. Serve them sincerely as you would serve Christ. Ephesians 6:5. So, we'll ask the Old Testament scholar Egal first. What is the modern Christian view of slavery? All right, well, very good. So we'll move on now to our New Testament scholar. What about slavery? Should a Christian, uh, modern day Christians, how do they feel about slavery? Jay, we'll bring you on here and give you a solo. Go ahead and take it away. Well, very good. Now that's very good. Both all good answers here. The thing is too, talking again to my wife about this very subject, and she kind of summed it up very much like that. That we're talking apples and oranges. The slaves that were emancipated back in Abraham Lincoln's day. That's different than what we're talking about here in the Bible. And these slaves, even in the Old Testament and New Testament. I'm sure that it's more like these people had a job. They were doing well for the master. The master was taking care of them. So it was like today. I mean, how many times have you heard the word today that when everyone's I look out the window, I see people running off to work every day and getting to their place of business. That's like a modern day slavery too. But they're compensated for it. They're compensated just like in the days of the Old and New Testament. Hey, we do have a question I want to bring up here that being asked on YouTube, and that comes in from Patricia Hines, and she says, "Can someone please explain Genesis 9:3, where God told Noah that he could eat all the moving things? Does that mean unclean as well?" We'll go with Egal first. Go ahead, Egal. So basically, Gal, it's just in that particular verse in Genesis 9:3, and correct me if I'm wrong, but basically you got to tie that into the Levitical law code, not to eat unclean meat, even though they were told they could eat the moving things of the ground. All right, okay, okay. So you will include that in there. And how about Jay? Jay, any further thoughts on that? Well, there you go. And I have to confess to you guys here today, folks, that, when I was a Jehovah's Witness, one of the things that really got me thinking, I don't want to be part of this organization. And you see all these pictures they would portray in Watchtower and in their various publications, and would always show people in the new system out having fun and, grilling pineapples and broccoli. And, I never saw any meat on the grill. I love meat. I really, really do. I hope I hope I'm not being a big time sinner here, but I really do love meat and ribs and what have you. And that was one of the reasons I was thinking, geez, I don't know if I want to live on paradise earth. I love meat. And I mean, seriously, I'm not just saying that because I love barbecued food. And I used to have all the witnesses. We used to come up and have big barbecues. But I'm saying, wow, what are we going to be doing in the new system? I don't know if I like grilled pineapple. I never tried it. Maybe it's pretty good. But anyways, oh man, this is amazing to me. So what we do here, we'll take another 10 minutes or so, and I'd like to see if anybody has any comments, any questions with open lines. Can we do that? You guys ready? All right. Well, let's see. Okay, if you got a question for the scholars, if you got a question for the scholars, they'd love to hear from you. So we got Egal, he's the Old Testament scholar. We have got Jay Hess, he's the New Testament scholar. Go ahead, you're on with us. What do you want to say?
Yeah, thank you, Rick. I got a question for Dr. Egon.
All right.
Do you think that Jehovah is a Metatron spirit? Is it a Metatron fallen angel spirit that they worship at the Watchtower? understood because there are Kabbalistic overtones to witness doctrine. Even the Watchtower itself, it's a tarot card logo, so it is baked in there.
Well, very good, caller. Very, very good. Jay, did you want to make a comment on that as well? All right, good for you. All right, we had another caller coming in. Did you want to come in, caller? Oh, we did have another caller, looked like coming in from California at one point. Okay. Well, excellent. So what we'll do is okay, we do have a caller. Yeah, go ahead, caller.
Yep. Yeah, I just thought I'd mention about the Aiken theory. When I studied the Truth book and the Paradise Earth book, there was nothing said that you had to confess your sins to the elders. What was said is if you run into some spiritual problems, you can, at your own volition, talk to the elders and for guidance and direction. The Aiken theory was something that they used on me, and how they worked that is if you're hiding a sin, then the Holy Spirit is taken from the congregation, and you would cost the whole congregation their spiritual lives at Armageddon if that sin wasn't dealt with. It's a con job. It gives the elders, permission, so to speak, to direct you in any way that they feel necessary. And if they disfellowship you, there's another thing that they come up with, was that whatever the elders loosen on earth, means forgiving sins, that the Heavenly Father has to follow that lead, which is absolute ludicrous. I just I throw that out there for the audience. Thanks, Rick.
Well, thank you, Dick. Yeah, in fact, he's one man that did actually experience the Aiken syndrome. Well, that brings the program here to a close. I really enjoyed the. Do we have another person want to come in? I'll be checking the callers here, but that brings it to a close. And I enjoyed the program. We had a lot of people listening in on YouTube. We had them on our radio network as well. And we're really thankful that you fellas have spent the time to go through all of this. So we'll have another Christian court in a couple of weeks if all goes well. So we're looking forward to it. Thank you, Dr. Egal, and thank you, our good friend Jay. And we appreciate your presence here today and the people who called into the program. So we're going to end this program. And before we do, though, maybe what we can do is people who are watching us on YouTube and listening in, they might want to be able to get a hold of you two fellas. Egal, give us some information how they can get a hold of you. Excellent. And Jay, how are they going to get a hold of you? Excellent. Well, thank you very much. And we appreciate you folks coming on, and keep standing tall. And we're proud that you are both real Christians, and God, may he bless you both. Thank you very much for coming on here today. We'll end this program now. And then what we'll do, we're going to start another program. We have Jay coming up with his program. Jay Hess will be coming on next. I think he's going to do more information on the slavery in the Old and New Testament. I think he'll be discussing that. But anyways, we want to thank everyone for coming in. Boy, I'll tell you what, our Sunday programs are starting to gain momentum. So we appreciate that. Now you stay with us because we're going to our next program. I'm just going to make sure that we got Jay in there. And let's see what we got. Okay, yes, we do. Jay's in there. He's quick to draw. So let's get the wheels of progress started here. I'm going to go live. We'll play some music. Then I'll introduce Jay. Going live right now.
You're on the Six Screens Telenetwork, earning the reputation of giving all the right ingredients, uninhibited, in exposing the hard, cold facts about the Watchtower Society. And now, in Disney.
Well, hello, everyone, and welcome into our Sunday afternoon programming. Of course, you're noticing it's a little different than Saturday night. On Sundays, we get into theological issues. We discuss the scriptures. And right now there's a lot, and I mean a lot, of Watchtower people, Jehovah's Witnesses, leaving the organization. And they're leaving for various reasons. And what we've come to find, when people leave the Watchtower, many of them don't want anything to do with God. In fact, the numbers we work here with at the network is about 20% of all Jehovah's Witnesses who leave the organization want to reattach themselves to the scriptures and spirituality. Most don't. So for those that do, and you're listening in today on our programs, we really hope that you can continue to pursue your career in true spirituality. And we're so glad that you got yourself away from that cult. Well, we have a man coming on. I met him back in 2004. His name is Jay Hess. And at one time he was associated with the writing department of the Watchtower Society. And he's on here now. He's an ex-Jehovah's Witness. He knows a lot about the scriptures. He helped me when I was leaving the Watchtower. So if you have a question for Jay, he's going to be answering your Bible questions today. Let's bring Jay on. Hello, Jay. Yes. So, geez, you're right on the ball. Boy, you're right there. Fast draw Jay, they call him. Anyways, we're looking forward to the program today, and I'm here if you need me, and I'll be listening in here intently and making sure everything's going smooth for you.
white ass. I want to see your asshole. Let me see your asshole, baby. Let me lick your ass.
Hold on. We got we'll get him on. We'll get him off of here. Don't worry. Yeah,
I hate that. I want to shit out your ass, baby.
about the gifts of the Spirit. And someone mentioned today that you are, unless you speak in tongues, it's not a sign, there's no sign that you've been baptized by the Holy Spirit. Could you elaborate on that a little bit? Oh, can you hear me better now? Oh, good. I'm so sorry. Someone mentioned today that the Holy Spirit is not there's evidence of it by speaking in tongues that you haven't been baptized by the Holy Spirit. And I'd like your comments on that, please. Pretty much. Maybe if you allow, Rick and I could talk to you sometime. Thank
Well, can you hear me, Jay? Yeah, well, my goodness gracious. Well, thank you very much for coming on and wanting to be with us today. We had a lot of people coming through, not many people calling in, but they're listening in, Jay, and we never know what's going to happen. We plant the seed and we see what goes on. Thank you. Yes, thank you. Great program. Thank you very much. See you in 2 weeks, yes.
I heard an old story, how a Savior came from glory, how he gave his life on Calvary to save a wretch like me. I heard about his groanings, of his precious blood's atonement. Then I repented of my sins and won the victory. Oh, victory in Jesus, my Savior forever. He sought me and bought me with his redeeming blood. He loved me ere I knew him, and all my love is due. He plunged me to victory beneath the cleansing flood. I heard about his healing, of his cleansing power revealing, how he made the lame to walk again and caused the blind to see. And then I cried, dear Jesus, come and heal my broken spirit. And somehow Jesus came and brought to me the victory. Oh, victory in Jesus, my Savior forever. He sought me and bought me with his redeeming blood. He loved me ere I knew him, and all my love is to him. He plunged me to victory beneath the cleansing flood. I heard about a mansion he has built for me in glory. And I heard about the streets of gold beyond the crystal sea, about the angels singing and the old redemption story. And some sweet day I'll sing up there a song of victory. Oh, victory in Jesus, my Savior forever. He sought me and bought me with his redeeming blood. He loved me ere I knew him, and all my love is to him. He plunged me to victory beneath the cleansing flood.
You're on the Six Screens Telenetwork, earning the reputation of giving all the right ingredients, uninhibited in exposing the hard, cold facts about the Watchtower Society. And now, the end is near.
Wow, we want to thank everyone for coming into the program this weekend. My goodness gracious, we have more and more people leaving the Watchtower. And we really thank you for coming in. Those that spoke up, we really appreciate that. Now listen, next Saturday night, we begin at 5:45. We got Roland coming in from the United Kingdom. So by all means, check that out next Saturday night. Thank you very much. I really appreciate everyone that's been really coming in here and asking questions and posting on our YouTube page and giving me emails all about what's going on behind the curtains of the Watchtower. Keep that up. We love you all. Keep cranking away at it. We'll see you in 2 weeks. In fact, not 2 weeks, but 1 week. Thank you very much.